What is up, everybody? You know, I always start this show off by showing love to those companies who help make this podcast possible. First is my anchor sponsor, my people. You know that I love them over at BLUON. Guys, BLUON is just a perfect sponsor as we are both about the same thing, empowering HVAC techs to do better and have better lives, which that's actually going to carry into the show today, just so you know. We all know BLUON for having the best app to get us manuals, info that we need, and having the best tech support out there. Now, BLUON has taken it up a notch, giving you access to part list and part numbers for 300,000 plus model numbers, and then letting you order those parts directly from your local supply house. I don't think that you guys and gals understand the power of being able to order those parts directly from your phone. They're there waiting for you. They can be delivered to you, and you're ordering this stuff through the same accounts that you get anyway. It doesn't cost your boss or your owner any more or less. It's the same thing that they were going to get regardless. I understand that some of you are technicians and you can't make the decision on when or where you can buy from or how you can buy from. But I would still put this in your manager, your boss's ear, because it's only going to help when it comes to efficiency. You guys aren't going to believe how awesome this is. BLUON has done all the research for your supply house. All you need to do is find the right model number, and BLUON takes care of the rest. You can even send requests to suppliers who don't carry the brand you are working on, because BLUON gives the supply house the cross-reference info and the options so they can get you a 100% compatible part that they carry. How fucking cool is that? BLUON just keeps raising the bar on how they support techs in the field. And we all know BLUON is 100% free for techs forever. All right. But what you didn't know is that when you order parts from your local supply house using BLUON, they get paid a small fee. This is how they are able to keep giving us all the free, amazing support that they do. You go to the BLUON, go support BLUON by making the choice that only you can make to order parts on the BLUON app. It will save you tons of time, frustration, and you will never get the wrong part again. And you will contribute to the BLUON community who is here to serve techs. Now, that's awesome, man, and that's why I love working with them. And I'm actually going to have the manager of my local Johnstone so you guys can hear his perspective, and he loves it when it comes to certain things. But most he loves it because of that tool that they built for them when it comes to cross-referencing hard parts. BLUON did all the work for him. So, guys, remember, BLUON upgrading the HVAC industry. Next is my friends over at Yellow Jacket, man. I've been doing a spotlight every week, but I really want to get back onto this combustion analyzer. So this thing, I'm going to be giving one away. I know I've been saying that for like a month now, but I do have one to give away. But the one that I'm not giving away, my techs love this thing. It's simplistic. I won't lie, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles with the colored screen and all this other stuff, but people, I always say this, I want tools that do the job I need them to do when I need them to do it. And I have not found, in my 20-plus year experience in the HVAC trade, a more reliable brand than Yellow Jacket. Maybe there's some as reliable, but I haven't found one more reliable than Yellow Jacket. I think they give amazing instruments and tools at a competitive price that's not going to break the bank. You don't have to replace them every year. I still have the Yellow Jacket original bullet pump that I used back in the field years ago. That thing still works. One of the techs actually takes it out sometimes when he needs to use one because his pump broke. So that should tell you something right there. I spent whatever money it was, 8, 9 years ago, 10 years ago, and that pump is still rocking and rolling because I took care of it. I changed the oil. I always made sure all that stuff was taken care of, and it always does exactly what I need it to do. So with that being said, guys, I will never tell you to buy anything. You'll never hear that come out of my mouth. All I say is if you're going to spend some of your hard-earned money and you're looking to buy a new tool, a combustion analyzer, a vacuum pump, a manifold set, all I say is check out Yellow Jacket. If you decide to go elsewhere, that's your choice. I don't want you to buy anything because I said so. I just want you to take a look at them, and if it's right for you, then buy it. And they have an amazing warranty, and Yellow Jacket is made right here in the US of A. So remember, I've been saying 70, but it's actually 75 years of expertise built into every tool. Let's get on to this pledge, and we have a great show tonight. I can't wait to get into it. Let's rock and roll. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States, and thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
Welcome to the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil KV Jr.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. I'm your host, Gil KV Jr. Here we are, another hump day, another Wednesday night, another fucking amazing show, as always. Well, at least I try. I do want to give a big thank you. I haven't even really been keeping track of this. I'll probably make a post here soon. But actually, in the beginning of September, the podcast broke 4 million downloads. And I've won awards, I've won different things, but that means the fucking world to me. The fact that in 5 years, that many people have listened to me, I've been able to help people, and on a consistent basis is fucking awesome. That is the biggest payoff, because I know I don't get tons of people that watch live like some other people do, but for some reason, the audio podcast is always getting downloaded. And to everybody that listens to this audio-wise, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank you so much for downloading this podcast on a consistent basis. I cannot thank you enough. So with that being said, man, I got a great fucking show tonight. He's a friend of the show. He's been on before. And, you know, you guys know how I feel about when it comes to offering things to customers. And this is one of the guys who started that, who was in that revolution of getting people to be the best they can be. And we're going to talk about a whole bunch of different things, because I need to catch up with this man. I haven't talked to him in a little while. With that being said, let's just get right into this fucking show. Guys, please put your hands together and help me welcome the one and only, the ninja himself, Mr. Gene motherfucking Slade. What's up, buddy?
Thanks, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Awesome. My audio went a little muted there for a second. What an intro. And I'm telling you, I love the pledge, man. They don't do that anymore. What's up with that?
I don't know, man. That's why I always do it. It's just something, you know, being military family, it means the world to me. It's something near and dear to my heart. So that's something that I'll always do. To be honest, my colors, that's why I picked red and white. We're red, white, and blue. So we need to be more patriotic these days. There's too many pussies in the world.
Amen. Let's go, man.
Yeah, right. With that being said, man, I know you haven't been on for a little bit, and I know a lot of things have happened. Well, I guess we'll start off this way. If, God forbid, somebody has been under a rock for the last 5, 7, 8 years, tell them a little about who you are and what you do, buddy.
So I'm originally an HVAC contractor and water treatment contractor. You know, my father had his own company growing up. It was an HVAC company, and small, like 2 jeans in a truck, right? And then my uncle had a plumbing company, so I kind of got a little bit of both worlds. Eventually ended up moving up the ranks, starting my own HVAC company. We won some awards for that. I sold it 6 years and 1 day after I started it for a really nice profit, and kind of went into semi-retirement for 6 months before I started Lead Ninja, which is what we do now. And with Lead Ninja, essentially we help HVAC, plumbing, and electrical contractors with sales training, with marketing strategies, with business coaching, all of those things. And so the trades have been phenomenal to myself and to my family, and we'd really be nowhere without them. So but I've done every job there is, from, you know, cleaning out the toilets to answering the phones to making the sales to managing the businesses to exiting them. So I've got a pretty good foundation from which to help people.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to say this before we get going, and you know that I'm honest, is Guys, I talk about sales all the time, and I always say, people think it's a dirty word. And because of Gene's personality, and it may be like people like Victor and their personalities and stuff like that, a lot of people like to try to talk trash on these guys, but I'm the first one to tell you and validate that I have talked to thousands upon thousands of people that Gene himself, and Victor for that matter, have changed their lives for the positive. These guys have told me, hey, after training with Gene, I just paid off my house. I just bought a new house. I'm finally living life the way I wanted to live. So the proof's in the pudding. So I just wanted to say that first and foremost. I think people need to hear that.
Man, listen, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Money is nice, right? But once you have a certain amount of money, it doesn't, or you've made a certain amount of money, it just doesn't fulfill you well, I'm going to take that back, right? Because when I was younger, money was a lot more important to me than it is now, right? Like, I just got off of a 15-minute telephone call with a student that we had this past week at the Mansion event. And he was an installation technician who did a little bit of service, but the sales really, he never really got it, right? Well, he came out to the event, and in 3 days since he's been back, he's sold $45,000 worth of equipment and indoor air quality stuff. And his boss is telling him, I need you to slow down. I need you to not sell as much. Like, what? Like, it's, that, first of all, that thought process doesn't make any sense to me. Second of all, if you give that kind of a guy that advice, I mean, you could absolutely crush what he's doing already. And on top of it, he's getting 5-star review after 5-star review after 5-star review. So he's not going out there and hurting anybody. He's going out there and helping clients to get things that maybe they didn't know that they even wanted or potentially needed. So, man, what an incredible business we're in. If you have the right tools, if you have the right mindset, and you've got drive. That's what this kid had. He had drive and a good mindset. He didn't know how he was going to get where he wanted to be, but he knew that he needed a vehicle. And once he found that vehicle, boom, took off, right?
Amen.
So I'm just grateful I'm grateful for Victor. I'm grateful for Sam Wakefield. I'm grateful for Joe Cunningham. I'm grateful for the other people that are out in the business that are making a difference, because without that kind of leadership, we'd be in bigger trouble than we even are right now as a community. I mean, I don't know if you've seen numbers, but I've seen numbers, Gil, that say that we're short like 150,000 technicians nationwide in the industry.
Yeah, I hear it all the time. And we've had to almost create our own, which we've had good luck, but not everybody is in the position or able to do that. And then I've also talked to a lot of people where business is down. We're fortunate that we took a huge risk on a marketing thing that happened. It's crushing. So it's one of those things where it's working amazing. We're actually having to hire installers right now. So any installers in the DMV looking for a job, hit me up. But we've talked to some friends of ours that own bigger companies, and he's like, I got 5 install teams, man, and I don't know what to fucking do with them. And I'm like, oh shit, like that sucks. So are they
talking about lead flows being down?
So apparently, lead generation, and then some people are just. Let's be honest. I mean, you watch TV and all you see is war. Inflation is up. You're paying more for stuff. People are scared to spend money because they don't know what the fuck's going to happen. But people still have needs, and people are still buying stuff. You just have to get to them. And that's what we proved with this market campaign, because people will still sit there all day and boop, 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 you know? And so we've found that maybe those people that are buying those high-end systems aren't necessarily out there right now. But, hey, a $9,000 sale, a bunch of them is just as good as one, 16, 20, 30. You know what I mean? Like, it's right. As long as my install trucks are moving, we're making money. You know what I mean? Right. So that's what we found out, and it's so far so good. I don't knock on wood because I don't want to say something I jinx myself, but it's rough.
You don't believe you could really jinx yourself, do you?
I don't, but who knows? If you could, I would be the guy who could jinx himself. That would be my
With
luck.
your rotten luck.
Exactly. But and speaking of Victor, that's awesome that you guys were able to make amends. Like I said, two polarizing figures in the industry. It's definitely better for the industry that you guys are able to do things and be together and stuff like that. So that's awesome. That's big of you for people to do that.
Well, we kind of reconnected about 8 months ago in private and just kind of talked a little bit and things went well. So I was grateful that he had us out to the Profit Rocket event. And believe it or not, this weekend I've got a tent, a tailgate tent right outside of Gator Walk in at the Florida Stadium. And Victor's going to come out and he's going to tailgate and be at the game with us. So on me as my guest. So we're going to spend a little bit more time together. So I think Victor's done phenomenal things for the industry. He's definitely a true leader. And look, we all have egos, right? And not everything is always going to work out the way we'd really like it to. But at the end of the day, what we decided was that we wanted to come together for our community and not create division, but try to unite people as best we could.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And that's so much better because when you do have polarizing figures like, when you see that stuff and then like people feel like they got to pick a side and stuff like that,
Right.
it's just like, hey, I support both of these guys, man. Like I just sit back and laugh when people say stuff, it's just, but that's awesome to see. And I'm glad you're still doing stuff. I was supposed to be at his event, but I told you off air that I haven't been doing much traveling and stuff like that, but I got to get out to some more of these events and show my face. I've been invited to a lot. I mean, you've invited me personally to stuff, man. And it's just been,
Right.
it's been fucking hard, but I'll be in a new house here in the next like 2-3 months. And after that is done, some things settle down. I'm going to boot, scoot, and boogie and be fucking out and about, starting with Chicago and AHR. So,
Gil, I got to say something about you, and I want to acknowledge you in front of your entire audience for a characteristic that you have that most people don't, and it's one that we share, right? But you, my man, are resilient. Like, I've watched you get knocked down and just get up, shake it off, and go knock down, get up, shake it off. Like, there was a time where I saw you get knocked down, and I was like, holy fuck, can he even get through this, right? Can he rebuild this? And my man, cheers to you. What an amazingly resilient motherfucker you are.
thanks, man. Yeah, a lot of people that just started following me don't even know that I had a Facebook group with 100,000+ people, and Facebook told me somebody said faggot, and they shut the group down. And I had to
Crazy.
rebuild it, and we're still not even close to that. Some of it probably worked out because some people probably shouldn't have been in there, but we're still only at like 50K. But it is what it is, man. This is fun. I love doing it. I've been able to meet so many awesome people that I've made myself better. I wouldn't be where I am today without this podcast. Like, people are like, Gil, you've helped me, and I've been able to do this and this and this. But I've learned so much to help my own career. So, it's not like I'm learning in this motherfucker too. It ain't just you guys. So it's cool. And then even to be able to go to events, and like I met a guy and he's like, man, I love this YouTube channel. I watch AC Service Tech. And I'm like, yeah, Craig's my boy. And he's like, no way. And I was like, I'll call him right now. And he was like, I bet you $20. I'm like, dude, you better open your fucking wallet.
Make it 100.
Yeah, and I called Craig, and it's awesome to be able to say that these kind of different people and that the community supports each other, because we're all trying to do the same thing, man. We're giving back to an industry that's been so good to us.
Amen.
That's what it comes down to. But anyway, I appreciate that, though. Thank you very much, man. But
You deserve it.
Thank you. Since we haven't talked in a little bit, like what's been up with you, man? I know like the last time that I was really on social media, I know you guys got that new place that's awesome. You were having trainings. What's going on in the Lead Ninja world nowadays?
Well, we got that place, and then we ended up getting a different place.
Shit.
We lease stuff right now because the Florida market is insane, and I've already seen a dip, and there will never be the perfect time to buy something, right? But I wasn't going to pay the astronomically inflated prices that have been going on right now, like they were going on in 2007. But that being said, we're in a little bit nicer house now. We've got a pool going in out back with fire bowls and water stuff, and it's going to be cool. We'll probably end up having a VIP party here or something like that when we're done. But from a business perspective, we've done a lot of these mansion events, and it's where we bring in like 24 people. It's a really intimate setting, and they live with us for 3 days in like a 16 or 20 or 30,000 square foot mansion, and we not only spend the class time together, like 8, 9 hours a day, but it's the after times where we hang out and we eat dinner together, and we might have a drink together, or sit up by the pool, by the fire, and just really talk. And that's what people constantly tell us. They're like, the classroom time's phenomenal and it's worth it. And the after stuff is even better than the classroom time. So we've got this unique model where we'll spend somewhere between 14, 15 hours a day with people and really just pour into their lives. And like, there are tears sometimes before people leave. Like, we really, really connect with people. And Gil, like, I've had people that have criticized me. Oh, you rent out these big mansions, 30,000 square foot mansion, whatever. Who are you trying to be? Look, at the end of the day, it's actually cheaper. It was a business decision. We made a business decision to bring people in rather than fill a hotel, and bring people into an intimate setting where we could really connect and spend time with them. And they didn't leave. How many of you guys have been out to events? What do some men have a tendency to do when they go out to events out of town? They get in trouble, right?
Yeah.
And we're about family, right? We're about trying to do things ethically, morally, legal. Like, we don't want people taking off and getting drunk and going to places they shouldn't be going, and then not being in the right state of mind the next day. So we create an environment where they don't have to leave from the time they get there until the time that it's over.
It's an awesome
Which
experience. It's about the
Yeah,
experience. Not to interrupt you, like, it sucked when you offered that to me, and I couldn't make it because it looks fucking amazing. I would love that. The whole experience, and it's different. Everybody's doing stuff in hotels. Okay, book, blah, 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 do this, go back to your room. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And like you said, the after hours and building it together is so much more impactful than something like that. So I couldn't agree. I think it's genius.
Well, and it costs us money, to not do bigger events, right? We could rake in 3, 4, 5 times as much, but it just doesn't serve our mission the way that we want it to. And we don't really we haven't had that totally figured out really until recently, when we brought on the new sector of business that we recently brought on, which is really what I'm excited to talk about today. You asked what's going on. There was a guy who created a conversational AI. His name is Caleb Maddox. Now, we say conversational AI. Most people probably don't understand what that means, because I really didn't understand it until 3, 4 months ago. But it is literally it's a CSR that's a robot that sounds like a human. This is Daniel. This guy sold $45,000. He sold $45,000 his first 3 days back. He's an installer that also did service, and he's just like blasting off. Daniel, what's up? Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining us.
Good shit.
But let's get back to this conversational act. Imagine a world where there was a voice that was almost indistinguishable between yours and mine, right? A human voice. And it was programmed with every single bit of knowledge that I have in my brain, right? As a salesperson. And we could program it for me to be your outbound salesperson who calls out on your appointments for your maintenance and books those appointments, who calls out to existing customers and books them for maintenance, who calls out to existing lists that you might have for areas that you want to target and brings in new customers for service maintenance and replacements.
I'll take it.
Right? That's only module number 1, Gil.
Oh, yeah, that's just what you said is fucking mind-blowing enough, because what I told you, the campaign that we're doing is doing exactly what you are talking about, but the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
and just finding the right techniques. How do you track it? Are they calling the right people? Blah,
Oh
blah,
yeah.
blah. So what you just said, just like punch me in the face.
Yeah. And dude, so imagine me saying, and there's a premium package right now. It'll be a lot more in the future, but there's a premium package that's discounted to $100,000 right now. I'll just throw the price out there, right? There are cheaper, there's cheaper packages and stuff, but that one includes everything that I'm ever going to build, right? But this first module, the outbound telephone call, is going to be phenomenal. We're launching it tomorrow, soft launch for 2 or 3 of our clients. We've got a bunch of people in the hopper waiting to go, but we've been testing and testing and testing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls, and it's now finally starting to talk like me, and it's learning on every single call, and it is twice as effective as the best sales teams, outbound sales teams out there that we've been able to find from a conversion ratio, and it's 1/5 of the cost.
Mm.
1/5. So it's a 10x reduction in efficiency, like improvement in efficiency, reduction in cost. And then think about this. It doesn't get sick. It doesn't call into work. It doesn't need a smoke break or a lunch break. Doesn't have to go pee. Doesn't have drama from a baby daddy or a baby mama, right? I mean, listen, we all deal with that. Like I got a baby mama. I deal with drama, right? Do you deal with drama? Everybody deals with drama. And how does that affect us at work, right? It doesn't get upset when it called 10 people and nobody said yes, right? It actually, it doesn't get discouraged at all. And it doesn't get angry. Like if you get angry with it, it becomes more empathetic. So we're Lead Ninja AI is here. It's not something that's coming in the future. It's actually here. But that's just module number 1. Can I tell you about more?
Yes, please do. That's fucking awesome.
So module number 2 we're building is to take the inbound telephone call from your marketing pieces, from anybody who's an existing customer, and it knows who they are because we upload them into the system. So if you call and go, hey, Gil, how's it going? How can I help you today? Right? Like instantly when you call. So it'll be taking all the inbound calls, scheduling all the appointments, putting them on the calendars and everything. And so essentially, Gil, what I see, and I was talking to somebody at one of the big private equities today who I've known for almost 10 years now. And he says, Gene, after I've seen this, I truly believe that in 10 years, we won't have CSRs. Like it's going away. Because this is, I programmed this thing one time and it doesn't make an effing mistake, right? Like, and if it makes a mistake, I go in and I correct the mistake and it never makes it again. It's like I train it one time and that's it. Okay. So now module number 3, imagine a world where you put in your option sheets into your computer and it knows what you sold and what you didn't sell. And then it makes a follow-up telephone call to ask the customer something like this, did the technician call you prior to arrival to let you know they are on their way? Did they wear shoe covers each and every time they came in and out of the house? Did they explain everything in a way that was super crystal clear, easy to understand? You didn't have any questions, right? And they're like, no, everything was good. Got it. We appreciate you being a client and we look forward to seeing you in 6 months. And oh, by the way, before I let you off the phone, I see there was some stuff in the mandatory column you chose not to do. Would you mind sharing with me why? And then next thing you know, we're having a price conversation, an affordability conversation, and I'm able to work out monthly payments with the client, schedule the work, go do the work. That's module number 3. We're literally going to be following up on everybody's sales for them. And you and I both know that that's something that people just don't do.
And it's so much work that people are missing out on that's already there for the taking. It's your work. You just didn't take it.
And we've been training people how to do this for years and years and years, Gil, but now we don't have to beg them to do it anymore. I'm going to do it. And here's the one other cool thing. Like with this software, I can call one person or I can call 1,000 all at the same time. So if I need to book your calendar today, right now, done.
That's fucking awesome. People are making comments. Like one guy said, we love our CSRs, and that's fine. And it's not saying you get something like this. And
I do too.
And you fire them all. It means that they could be doing other things in your business. There's always something to do. Now they can do other tasks, and this thing can do that part of it better than they can. You put people in a position to excel, not what you necessarily need. You know what I mean? So
You can
Yeah,
use technology to elevate people's lives, right?
yeah.
And it's our job as contractors to either retrain those people to serve in other areas of our business or to help them into another position somewhere else, even if it's not inside of your company, right?
Mhm.
This is we can love people all we want. Bottom line is this is here, it's not going anywhere, and it is going to replace a majority of those jobs. Now, the high level people that are the best at it, they'll oversee this. They'll oversee what's happening with the AI, and they will make sure that anything that's starting to slip through the cracks gets over to us and we fix it immediately. But this is going to change things. It doesn't need to completely replace human beings. Retrain them,
Yeah,
right? Right.
yeah.
And if you don't love them enough, that's on you, you know? So those are three things like that. Like if it could just do the first thing, just make the outbound calls, schedule my maintenances, schedule people for maintenance that are not existing maintenance agreement customers, potentially upsell them to a maintenance agreement, and then make outbound telephone calls to new people that are not in my base. Holy cow, game over, right? Game over. Um, but we've got three modules there. The fourth one, and this is already being done in a different format, but this will be more personal, and it'll be after the technician leaves. The customer gets a call from the AI. It asks a couple survey questions to make sure that they're happy. And in the event that they are happy, then it's going to ask them on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate our service and why? And then it'll capture what they say about why, text it back to them. So they've just got to copy and paste it into their review, right? Just to make it easier for them.
Yeah, that's
So,
that's fucking awesome. Like I said, and dealing with it, and even like backtrack, even something as little as reviews. That's one of the reasons that we've been able to grow so fast is people just don't ask for it.
yeah.
Most people, if you just say, hey, if I provided a 5-star service for you today, would you mind leaving me a review? Sure. How can I do so? Let me see your phone. Boop, boop, boop.
Yep.
Like that. It's that simple. And you
It
go
is.
from a couple to 1,000, if you don't have at least 300, Google's like, fuck these guys. They don't even show you, So it's little things that make you better. Somebody brought up a good point. He says, Walmart has no cashiers anymore. The consumers are the cashier now at zero cost to Walmart. Exactly. This is the future, ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not. Just like people were like, I don't like inverters. Well, guess what? They're not
Yeah.
fucking going anywhere. Stuff like this. AI is coming, and whether you use it or not, like I always say, I'd rather be on the front end of a wave and something fail than the back end after it's already succeeded. So it's, and I've seen, not at this level, because this is fucking amazing. But I mean, we've used AI on different things as far as like just text messages, emails, taking some of those
Yep.
little things, and that's been amazing. Something like this is like fucking mind blowing.
Dude,
That's fucking awesome.
this is so out of this world. Like when I first found out about it, and let me just let you guys know, I'm not a software creator. I didn't create this, right? But I'm programming myself into it. I have a team of people, a team of programmers that are working day and night to get everything that's up here into that. And I was listening to it about 30 minutes ago, and I was like, my God, like this thing is starting to become Gene Slade, right? And I can make an army of them.
Make sure it's not
Like
calling
an
your wife and
army.
shit, man. Brittany starts getting calls, and you're like, whoa, hey, you're not that much of me.
So now can I talk to you about some visionary stuff, like visions that I have for it? Those are 4 modules definitely being built right now. And I'm going to build a module for it to reach out to contractors and help to sell them on appointments with me as well. But imagine a world where you've got a technician out in the field, and maybe you're a company that doesn't have a sales manager. Maybe the sales manager is not available, and you've got a technician in the field or a salesperson in the field, can't close the deal, and their job is to call you if that happens and to get advice. Well, imagine me being your sales manager. Like at any time of the day or night, I'm programming myself into the sales manager so that I can help your guys close the deal. It will know any answer to any objection that the customer could ever come up with, and within 2 seconds access it and be able to have that conversation with the client and move them towards the sale for you.
That's
Ready? That's not even.
I'm processing, dude. And it's just kind of speechless. Yeah, it is. It is. I'm never quiet. You know that. So I'm quiet for good reasons because that's fuck.
Yeah, and we're the only ones that have it. We were fortunate enough to secure one of 100 licenses that were released for this for the world, and we got one of the very last ones. So we've been programming for a little while now, and like the results are going to be off the charts. I literally am putting everything that I have behind this. My entire name is behind it, and I can promise you it won't fail. It's already good enough to blow everybody out of the water that it's trying to compete with. So now imagine a world if you're an owner of a business, an HVAC company, plumbing company, electrical, roofing, doesn't matter what it is. But imagine that you've got GPS on your trucks. Technician turns the key forward in the morning. It alerts your CRM that alerts our AI, and the AI calls it 5 minutes later, calls the person and role plays with them for anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes on the top objections that they've been getting lately out in the field. Sharpens their sword before they go out.
Fucking right.
Right?
And role playing's huge. Not to people don't realize how important that is. So I'm glad that you said
it's insane.
That. Yes.
Like that should be a piece of everybody's daily routine. I learned from Grant Cardone that you get rusty in as little as 12 hours as a salesperson. So and every single morning when you get up, before you hit that first call, just spend 15, 20 minutes inside of training, doing a little bit of role playing. Have a running buddy that you can call up and go, hey, man, I want to think about it. Your price is too high. I need to get other quotes. And just run through practice, right? It's almost like watching game tape, right? It's like doing practice before you go out for a big game.
Yeah.
Listen, every day is the big game for y'all, right? If you go out unprepared, like, that's stupid. I was watching Andy Elliott one time, and he said, listen, if somebody walked into this room and just slapped you right in the face, you never met them, they just walked into this room, slapped you right in the face, and kept on walking. And you're like, oh my God, what just happened? The next time they came around the room, would you be ready? Would you be ready for that person?
Yeah,
if they walked up to you again? Yeah, then why do you let clients slap you in the face with the same objection over and over and over again without learning how to handle it? You're begging for this to take your job. Right?
I like Andy Elliott. He's
he's a freaking savage, man. What he's built over the last several years has just been incredible and so fast. But he's on it every single day. He's in your face every single day, and he deserves the success that he has.
Yeah, and
so
compared to, not to cut you off, what you just said when you say salesperson, and I know people are like, I'm not a sales guy. Okay, take a sales guy out with technician. Exactly. It's communication to the customer. We all communicate. You change a contactor, guess what? You just sold something, whether you like it or not. So, guys, please don't be naive and don't be ignorant enough to be like, that's not me, because that's exactly what you're doing. And sales is only bad if you're unethical. Well, if you're not an unethical person, then you have nothing to worry about. That's that simple. So that objection that you guys give, I just fucking shot it down. So
sales is, in some cases, the highest level of helping human beings.
Yeah.
That's how I see it, right? You never, ever, ever, never worry about your money when you're in your house. Never think about your commission while you're in the house. That is a sure way to self-destruct and be a horrible salesperson and communicator. Never worry about your money. Only worry about the client that you're there and making sure that they have all of the options and being a professional and learning how to communicate with them. If you do that, man, the money will handle itself.
Yeah, it's like reward money for doing a good deed. That's what it ends up being. Yeah. Like, you just help somebody, you had a good time doing it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I just made fucking $6,000 commission or whatever it is. And like I said, everybody has that aha moment. I had it, and I consider myself good at sales. I'm not on the level of these guys out there fucking killing it. I know that. But I wish I knew now. You know, I wish I knew then what I know now. That's what I meant to say.
Well, and Gil, I would bet $9 to a nickel that you're a better manager than me, right? Like, I am not a good manager. I am just not. It's not my personality. I'm a good leader, but I'm not a good manager. I don't have the patience for it, man. And I'm working on it every single day. But we all have got certain things that we're really good at. We all got a little bit different personalities, right? So, but anybody can learn sales. Anybody can learn it.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Just got to study.
yeah, no, I agree with that. And it's not to backtrack, but there's so many, the trades have made more quiet millionaires than a lot of other trades. And there's so many people out there right now that are in this trade that don't realize the opportunity they have. They don't realize they're not even scratching the surface. Like I tell people, if you're not making $150,000, $200,000 in this trade, then you need to look in the mirror because you should be.
Yeah.
You know, that should be. I have, like I say this, I have 20, 25-year-old kids that work for me making $150,000 a year that come and say, hey, I make more than my parents. What do I do with this?
Combine.
Yeah. And you know, and one came in with like $5,000 Gator shoes. I'm like, that's not what you do. That's not what you do. You know? But I mean, these guys are, you know, they have investments. You know, we have service meetings and they come in and they're like, I just bought a rental property. I'm like, fucking my man. You know, like I'm watching them change their lives and it makes me feel amazing. It didn't profit me.
Yeah.
I didn't make money off of it.
Yeah. Gil, I've had 6 clients in the last 13 months or so that have become Deca millionaires. If you guys haven't heard that term before, Deca means 10. So over $10 million on exits. So like this business can make you rich if you learn how to talk to people. But really, it's not as much about talking to people as it is about listening to them. If you can perfect how to listen to clients, clients will tell you exactly what to say in order to help them out. And then if you can take that skill and put it into some other people, right? Multiply that skill. Now you have an opportunity to become rich, and in some cases, wealthy. I know people who are worth nearly $1 billion in this vertical, in the HVAC, plumbing, and electrical spaces.
Yeah. I mean, I've had other things, but I mean, this trade's let me live the life I want to lead, where money's not a problem. This trade gave me the podcast. You know what I mean?
Amen.
And then led me into being able to do other things, like have an investment firm with real estate properties and all that kind of stuff. It looks like I'm worth a whole bunch of money on paper. I wish it would talk to my bank account, but but yeah, it's amazing. And that's why I always say at the end of every show is like, keep trying to better yourself. Like, don't ever be satisfied. Like, and just don't, because there's so many like gene systems. There's tons of systems, but people go and they're like, oh, this system's awesome. But then you get back to work and you don't fucking do it. Implementation is 95% of the battle. You know, we all get pumped up when we learn something. We go back and we're like, yeah, well, then I'd have to change and I'd have to actually do this. And you don't do it. So that means that you don't really care enough to change. And it's sad.
Yeah, my dad used to say that you don't change, and you've heard this, you don't change until the pain of changing is less than the pain of staying the same. And that's the truth. We get really comfortable, and comfort is the enemy of progress. It really is. When you start getting comfortable, when you start taking days off, when you start relaxing and thinking maybe I made it, that's when you start to go backwards. And I've had to learn that the hard way in my life.
Yeah, it's and obviously I tell people I was a fucking drug addict for years, man. I was stupid. I never thought I'd have a pot to piss in. You know, and sometimes I think, oh, if I wouldn't have had that, I could be so much further along. But then again, if I didn't have that experience, I might not have had the fire lit under my ass to go get the things that I have now. So everything happens for a reason. And that's why I share that, because I know it's prevalent in the trades and I want people to know you're not done. You know, your story is, you're not writing the end.
No, man.
It's just another chapter. Keep fucking going. So
for some of us, a whole new book.
Yeah. Exactly. Trust me, I got a whole bunch of
Yeah,
them.
yeah. I mean, how many chapters can one book hold, bro?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I mean, we're all going through or have been through some stuff.
Yeah. And it sounds corny, man, but I think what makes me good at the managing, I've always been a natural born leader, but whether it was growing up, sports, I never followed the crowd. My mom would always say, like, you know, why did you follow this or why did you do that? And I'm like, I was leading them to do that, Mom. Like, it was my fault we got arrested because I led them there. And when I love helping people, like I love to see other people succeed. I like to pick the people up around me, and by doing that, it raises me up, and then it it's I get to meet new people, and then they pick me up. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of this revolving circle, and it's amazing. Like, and I'll never preach religion on here, even though I am a Christian man. I have met so many people through my church that I absolutely love to death, and what I love about them is they're always there for me to help me succeed, and they don't expect anything from me in return. It's the kind of relationships that, like, only Jesus could make, because it's crazy because, growing up, it was always the relationships that were like, I did this for them, and it's like, oh, well, hey, remember when I did that? Like, you just, that doesn't happen. It just doesn't. And it's made me a better man, a better father, a better husband, whatever I do. And it's been life-changing for me. Not to get all, like, religious in
Well,
here.
yeah, I think that the longer somebody's truly following Christ, and I'll like go to him and then veer off, and then go to him and veer off. Am I the only person that does that, right? But the more
It is.
time that I spend with him, the more that I see the true joy in just being there for other human beings and just making that difference. And guys, when you got to take care of yourself first when you're younger, right? Like, I recommend that you bust your hump as hard as you can before you have kids, before you get married, right? But you've got to get yourself to a certain station where you can begin to help other people. Does that mean you got to be making $150,000 to start helping other people? No, right? But once you have gotten really good at something, start teaching other people and watch them begin to transform into something else. The Daniel that commented earlier, I literally just got off the phone with him today, and I'm watching the man transform into something different than he was before. The person that left that event was not the same person that came in there, and that's the goal, right? I want them to be unrecognizable to themselves within 30 or 60 days. And that's what's happening. And sure, I got paid to do that, and I get paid handsomely to do it. But the money gave me nowhere near as much joy as watching that man, watching the veil come off of his eyes and see that there were new possibilities that were open to him now and forever, and that his life was never, ever going to be the same again. Like,
Yeah.
bro, like, there's nothing better than that in life. So if you're really good at something, my recommendation is begin to teach it, because you really don't know it until you've taught it. And once you've
Amen.
taught it, now you're teaching a man to fish and not just giving him one, right?
Yep. I love
So,
that. And I always take that. I got so much better, even on the technical aspect. I was always a good tech, but until I had to start teaching guys that work for me, I was like, oh, shit. And it made me better. And I love that, because Jim Bergman used to say that you don't really know something until you have to teach somebody else. And that's so true. It's even made me better at sales. When people ask me questions and I'm like, oh, so now it's just top of mind. I can just come up with stuff, and it's made me better. So now, even like, I don't really do sales calls anymore because we have a sales team. But if I do have to go out and do stuff, I go out there and I'm like, oh shit, Gil. I'm like, damn, bro, like, that was good. Yeah,
Moonwalking back to the truck.
yeah, it's fucking it's awesome. It's just an awesome feeling. And but not to jump all the way back, but what the fuck with your AI stuff, man? That's crazy. Like, that is fucking
Bro,
crazy.
when I saw the tool, itself. It was in a completely different format for a completely different product, and a light bulb just went off. It was like, this, I think this right here is the thing, like the thing that I will end up being known for. And I immediately sought for the CSR and the outbound telephone call because the shoulder season we're in right now, right? Or going into. And I said, man, if I can get this launched for this fall and help contractors to book their schedule, I don't care if they're, I was talking to a $75 million company today that's like, yeah, man, there's some days where we come in, we don't have enough calls on the board. Our technicians aren't running. If we could flip that switch, this is genius. Let's, to a $2 million company where a guy doesn't have an outbounder and he doesn't have time to hire, recruit, hire, train, create the scripting, put all the stuff together, get him a dialer. I mean, that stuff takes months. I mean, by the time that happens, he could be out of business, right?
Yeah.
So, like, when I saw that, I was like, holy crap. And then I started, Gil, I couldn't sleep. Like, I was like, oh my God, I can use it for this. Oh my God, I can program this. Oh my, like, this is going to transform so many businesses. And here's the other thing that I'm scared about, Gil. Like, I'm concerned. I mean, this is November 1st, not to date the podcast, but November 1st, 2023. And we're going into a very uncertain economic time. And regardless of whether or not this is a lot cheaper and more effective than a human being, imagine as things tighten up, like the contractors that, number one, are focused on the service side of their business in addition to the replacement side of the business are going to have a distinct advantage. Secondly, being able to cut this overhead expense by 80% to 20% of what it was and be able to perform at twice the efficiency, twice the effectiveness is going to help some of the contractors that otherwise wouldn't survive what's coming up to survive. So this is literally going to save people from going bankrupt, and it's going to save a lot of businesses with what we've got coming up here. And this is just the first time you've heard of it. Forever now, it's going to be in your lives. And you can't escape it. It's not going anywhere. It's here. It's not the future. It's the present.
Yeah, no, amen. And the other side of this, when somebody said earlier about the CSRs, a lot of businesses fail from that 2 to 5 or 5 to 10 is because they hire the installers and the techs, but they don't have the office to be able to maintain that. So imagine if, say you have 4 or 5 girls in the office and you could grow from 5 to 10 to 15 million without hiring another CSR. Something like this takes care of it. And those 5 people who are there can be doing other things, aspects in your business, possibly making more money than they were as a regular CSR. You have the CSR position is getting taken care of better because it's Gene answering, pretty much being your CSR answering the question. And these girls are doing something else. Like most of our CSRs, like the phone, that's probably the least of what they like doing, to be honest. Like, they do it because it's part of their job, but it's not really fun. The other things, like, it's amazing. Like, some of them are like, I like accounting, or I love making, Excel sheets. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like it, but if that's what they like, I want to put them in a position to be successful. Fucking make sheets all day. I don't give a damn. So think about it from that side. Don't always, everybody goes all negative and it's like, somebody's going to lose their job and what the fuck? They're not going to be able to eat. And it's like, just back up for a second. It's going to be okay. Yeah, no, that's amazing. And that's awesome that you thought of it because, it's a copycat world. So, somebody's going to try to throw some shit at the wall and see what sticks here soon then.
Well, that's fine. And the reason that it's fine is because this is a tool that is only as good as the people programming it and the data and information that you put in. Very so cool. you can't get me from somebody else. Like and on top of that, Gil, it's even better than me because it doesn't have the things going on in my life that distract me. It is all of the knowledge that I have gained over my, let's see now, since 2000. So I've been in sales for 23 24, 25 years now. Everything that I have learned is going into its knowledge banking, and it can pull it in a fraction of a second. If I'm having a bad day, we all have bad days, right? If I'm having a bad day, even on my best day, I still can't perform as good as I've programmed it to perform already. So, like, if you know me and you know who I am and you know what I'm capable of and you've seen the results and you've heard what, Gil has said and other people have said, it's literally like buying me one time and I can replace your outbound sales staff, your inbound sales staff, your follow-up people, or as many of them as you want me to replace. Like, yeah. Seriously, if I told somebody I'd come work for you for $100,000 a year, people would shit themselves, and there would be a line out the door. This, you can get everything I ever create for that right now during the Founders Club. It'll be closed very soon, but even if it costs you $100,000 a year, which it won't, it would be. You're looking at bringing in $1 million or $2 million more usually in sales, minimum, and
yeah.
And not having all the headaches that come with hiring, recruiting, trying to convince people to come to work for you. People say you can't find good people. Well, guess what? Those days are over.
Yeah, and recruiting sucks, especially finding the right people. Having to go through it and, the hustle and bustle of every day you have to do, and then you have to interview people, and it's awkward. And I hate to say this, but especially CSRs. I'm not a CSR. It's not what I do. Which is why I normally leave those days. Like, oh, hey, you got this? All right, see. But yeah, that's crazy. I don't know what these guys, they start talking in the chat. I see, beef curtains, titty fish. I don't know what you guys are doing, but you just keep doing it. Whatever you guys are.
That's HVAC Uncensored showing up for you right there. Is what it is.
They're my people, man. They have their own chats.
Yeah. And just so you know, HVAC guys, I bleed HVAC since I was 11 years old. I have never seen such a savage group of motherfuckers in my life as there is in the HVAC trade when it comes to being keyboard warriors. You guys are badass behind the keyboard.
Dude, I don't go in my own group.
Yeah, I know. You can't even go in your own group, bro. They're like, fuck you, Gil.
Yeah. I make a video and they're just like, that's bullshit, Gil. You're fucking lying. What the? I'm like, oh, God, Jesus Christ. You tell them not to do something and they're like, we'll do whatever we want. This is bullshit. You said
don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. But then they'll email me and be like, hey, man, this guy called me a faggot. Kick him out. Like, no. Hey, this can't work both ways, man. No.
They say what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah. So I guess you're gay. I don't know.
I'm showing my age there.
That's funny. Damn. Oh, my little clock's gonna fall. But we're at an hour already. That sucks.
That's cool, man. It's not a problem, man. We can always do this again some other time.
Yeah, of course, man. And it was funny when this was set up and the lady messaged me and said, would you like to do a podcast with Gene? I'm like, yeah, Gene's a friend of mine. He knows he's more than welcome on here anytime. But yeah, dude, let me know. You always have an open invitation, brother. Sometimes it gets crazy and I don't reach out to people enough. But if there's ever something happening, especially something fucking mind-blowingly huge like this, let me know.
Well,
how would you promote this as well?
How would you feel about an update, like with some real KPIs, like 30 days after we've been, like 30 days in?
Yeah, I'll send you a link before we get off so that you can schedule it because it'll start to book out. And if God forbid it is booked out, I'll do a special episode that's just not on Wednesday. So we'll make it work.
Yeah, because this is something that's coming fast and furious, and I want as many people to be able to access it as possible. So there's always concerns, fears about bugs and things like that we're going to run into, and that will happen, right? There will be somebody that tries to talk over my AI for 2 or 3 times, and then it'll go, wait, I don't know what to do. Maybe I should start over, right?
Yeah.
And so, but that being said, it's already twice the conversion rate of the best sales teams out there. So if we have a bug every once in a while, give me a break. So does every single sales team, right? Some people that are in sales will just hang up the phone on them when they get frustrated. So, and it's at 1/5 the cost. So like we're already so far ahead of the game. I'm willing to deal with the bugs. I'm happy to deal with them. And these first people that come into our founders club, they're going to have lifetime access to this product without any sort of maintenance fees, like ever. I'll end up losing money on those deals long term, but they'll help me to get a couple of those bugs out here and there, and it'll be worth it for us.
That's awesome. Just got to make sure it doesn't say Mrs. or Mr. because nowadays you don't want AI getting fucked up.
Oh, listen, we'll program it for all that good stuff just to slap them in the face, right? Listen, we see on your birth certificate. Never mind. It can access all kinds of stuff. I was actually on with it before I got, and this is the last thing I'll say. I actually asked it at the end of a tune-up call that it called me. I asked it, hey, just a quick question before you get off the phone. I know I just booked the tune-up with you and everything, but could you tell me why HVAC contractors should use Lead Ninja? And I was like, there's no fucking way it'll be able to answer this question. It literally went into the internet and pulled data and things that people have said and literally told me why people should buy from us. And then I said, has Gene Slater Lead Ninja ever been featured in any national publications? And it starts to list off LA Weekly and the Fox and Forbes and these other places. Like, I was like, holy shit. Like, I didn't even program it to do that. It literally went out on the internet and found it. So this is better than any of you have any idea. And if anybody wants to test it, I can actually, all I need is somebody's name, their cell number, and their email address. And I can actually program that into the machine. I can have it call you. And even if you miss the call, when you call back, it'll say, hey, Gil, how's it going? Thanks for calling me back. Right. And it'll pick up with whatever task I've asked it to perform. And this morning, one of my technicians tested it. He was giving it the hardest time I've ever heard. It was a 9-minute and 54-minute telephone call. And this thing closed on him 8 different times before he finally gave it the appointment. It just never gave up. And it did it so soft and nice, and like it blew my mind. So I'm happy to, if anybody wants to text me or I don't know how you allow people to reach out on this. I usually just give my cell phone number out, but I'd be happy to let some people call it, hang out with it, play around with it, and see what it's really all about. It's truly remarkable.
I was going to say, if you want, when you come back on, I can give you the podcast line and you can do the shit live.
Hell yeah. That would be awesome. Let's do it. Let's do it when we do that next podcast. Right. In the meantime, is it okay if I give out my cell phone number?
Yeah, go ahead. And I'll I'll write it. Go ahead and say it, and then I'll put it in the chat, and I'll make sure it's in the show notes if you want.
A lot of people think I'm crazy for giving that out, but like that's why God created a block button. If you're a jerk, right? I can just block you, right?
Yeah.
So my cell number is my personal cell, 239-848-6533. One more time, is 239-848-6533. And if you text me, that's the best way to reach me. You text me, I can have my team put you in, and then I can hook you up with some demos where you can just play around with it yourself. It'll be on me. I'll be paying for the airtime and everything, but not a problem. The more that we challenge it, the better it gets. It's actually better on the next phone call than it was on the first.
That's awesome. So, for him to be that confident in his product and how it can help people, that he's giving out his fucking, I'm not a national thing, but let's be honest, this podcast gets anywhere from 60, 70 to 100,000 downloads an episode. He's giving his personal number out to that many people to call him to test his product. I'd say that's pretty fucking confident to me.
I do ask that you text, pretty please, just depending on the time of day or night. I might be asleep with my wife, and that lays right next to my head, so I'd prefer not to get telephone calls after maybe 10 p.m. at night. But
Eastern time.
By all means, text
just so you
me.
know.
I don't care what time of day or night you text me. You can text me any time of day or night.
Well, you said after a certain time, so I was just saying he's on Eastern time like I am.
Yeah.
So text, don't be calling late.
Don't call me after 10 p.m. Eastern, please. I beg you.
Yeah, I use that's one thing I love on the iPhones is the different focus
Do not
modes.
disturb.
Yep, do not disturb goes off at a certain time, and I don't like my wife who's always with me, my son who drives and out. Um, those I only have certain people who can call for emergencies they can
Exactly.
get through. Other than that,
Me
everything
too.
else can wait. Um,
Me too. 9
but
p.m. is when mine shuts off.
yeah, I think I'm close because I used to have to use that thing like reminder to go to bed. It's like, hey, Gil, if you want to
Exactly.
get a good night's sleep, shut your fucking mouth and go to bed. But I won't keep you any longer, man. I know it's getting late. Gene, I'm sorry that we haven't been on sooner, man. So we'll definitely set you to come back on just to stay in touch. And thank you for taking the time to come on because I think this, for one, it was awesome just talking to you and catching up with you. But I think that this is amazing and this is a fucking game changer. And I know I say that about some things, but this is legitimately a fucking game changer. Especially somebody in my position, not just a tech anymore, that I'm the general manager. I run a business, and some of the things that we're going through right now, that's why when he was saying this, I was just sitting here like, that would fix this, that would fix that. You know what I mean? Like, that would literally be headaches that I wouldn't have anymore. That's fucking amazing. So that's awesome, dude. Kudos to you.
Well, I'm so grateful that there was somebody that was smarter than me that came up with the technology, and I'm super grateful to have been around the trade so long that I have all of the things that I need already scripted out and written out to program it with. So it's a programming nightmare, an absolute nightmare. But we're there, man. We're there. So I'm so grateful for. I want to give them a shout out to my team at Lead Ninja, Don Johnson, Priyanka, Angel, Brittany, Janet. You guys are phenomenal. Thank you so much for all your support, and thank you to HVAC Uncensored, to all you motherfucking savages out there.
It's
Probably
my
have to
people.
bleep me on YouTube, right?
Oh,
But
no,
I
it's
love
good.
you guys too. You know, you guys make it interesting. You make it fun. Feel free to hate on me in the comments. I'm good with it. I'll play with you and I'll have fun with you while you do it.
Yeah, no, it's all good. No reason to hate. You should be following this, man. You might your bank account might like you more. But but yeah,
Word.
thank you for coming on, buddy. I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. You want to hang tight? I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Ew, wrong button. There we go. Hey, man, I hope that you and Jeans, I won't say this, but a lot of people if you've ever read any books when it comes to HVAC or trade sales, and I won't say the person's name because I should have asked him first, but people consider this person the godfather and like he's literally, like related to him. So it's just when people talk shit, I just fucking, it makes me like just laugh. I think it's funny. But anyway, thank all you guys for coming live, man. I appreciate you. I know Jason said that Mr. Brian Orr was given a live combustion analysis. So thank God you guys came here and go watch that later. You know, you couldn't be talking about, fucking beef curtains and all that kind of shit in that chat, My chat's special, as well as some other people's shows. We can talk about anything. Let me go back. I didn't do it in the beginning, so let me thank some of you guys real fast. So Jason Johnson, for being here, Mr. Reliable. My man Kraus, some of my moderators. I know Ricky wasn't here tonight. Mr. C. Young, East Coast. Brian was in here. Some people on Facebook, Donald Fritz. Yeah, I'm gonna miss some people, but thank Neil C. Vids. It was Brian Sanders, that's who it is. And there was a bunch of people on Facebook that I couldn't catch up with. So thank all you guys for coming live. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. I think that this is awesome. And I didn't know about this until talking, and I think it's fucking amazing. I know you guys, you knuckle dragon text, like Jason said, that maybe that doesn't get your dick hard, but it gets me fucking fucking stiff. I'm ready to go. My wife better be fucking ready tonight because she's getting a stabbing. But I probably not. We'll see. But this is fucking awesome, and it really is a game changer. So Yeah, with that being said, let me close this motherfucker out before I start rambling. Make sure you like the podcast on all the social media sites. The more that does, the more I can grow this thing, the more I can get to people. And I do have a lot of things coming. Like I said, my move is the only holdup. Once this move happens, I could finally unleash some things. It just doesn't make sense for me to do it until then, because it would be like set up, take down. It just doesn't make sense. So as soon as I move, I have a lot of things that are going to get unleashed, and I think you guys are going to love it, where you're going to see me more than one night a week, and it's going to be a good time. With that being said, man, damn, lost my breath there. Guys, remember, be safe out there, all right? We all got somebody to make it home to. Keep your head on the swivel. It's driving. It's making sure the breaker's turned off. Just keeping your eyes open and taking the blinders off. Be safe. Christ, we had a Halloween thing around here where somebody knocked on the door, said trick or treat, came in and, ended up robbing the people and tying them up. Like, it's a crazy world, okay? Just keep your head on a swivel. Be safe. Always make it home the same way you left. We all have somebody to make it home to. Do the little things. Set yourself apart from the next guy or girl. Do not be happy. If you're okay in your life and it's going good, then by all means. But if there's something you want, then fucking go get it. All right? There's so many ways to learn now, man. Whether it's podcast, it's online courses, reading a book. I'm not a reader, and I've learned so much reading books. It's been amazing. Always try to be the best version of yourself, however you got to get there. All right? With that being said, I love you, mofos. Stay safe. Have a great weekend. And make sure you support all the other shows. HVAC Overtime. I think Reliable already had his show. You got the Misfits on Saturday. There's a new show coming out. I'm not sure when it is, but my homies are in there. Reliable, HVAC Guy, and Kraus. So check that out too. I'll have to check that out myself. With that being said, peace. Love you guys.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored Podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.